Chugach State Park is one of the most breathtaking and untamed state parks in North America. Spanning 495,000 acres, it's the second largest park in Alaska and among the 4 largest state parks in the United States. This rugged expanse, nestled between the fjord-like Turnagain Arm to the south and the ice-capped Knik Glacier to the north, is a playground for nature lovers, hikers, mountain climbers, and fishermen. It's also a world-renowned destination for hunters. One of the park's crown jewels is the 8-mile-long aqua-colored Eklutna Lake. Its pure waters are fed by the Eklutna Glacier, surrounded by dramatic glacier-capped peaks. This stunning landscape invites families to bike, camp, and revel in Alaska's natural wonders. However, beneath its serene beauty lies a vast and dangerous wilderness, where a day of innocent fun can quickly turn into a nightmare. On a hot July day in 1980, 2 workers inspecting an electric line near the bottom of the Eklutna Lake Road stumbled upon a grisly sight: human remains. The workers promptly reported their discovery, and officers from the Anchorage Police Department soon arrived at the scene. Among them was a determined homicide detective named Maxine Farrell. As the grave was uncovered, it became apparent that the victim was a woman. Detective Farrell noticed that the clothing, a fur jacket, jewelry, and high-heeled boots, was consistent with the attire of prostitutes in Anchorage. This wasn't the first time she'd encountered such a scene. During the 1970s and 80s, Anchorage, Alaska was reminiscent of the Wild West. The oil boom and the construction of the Trans-Alaska Pipeline in the mid-70s brought thousands of workers to Alaska, hoping to make a quick buck. These roughnecks often worked long shifts in remote areas, far from the city's bright lights. When they returned to Anchorage, they sought to spend their hard-earned money and enjoy themselves. But oil workers weren't the only ones looking to make money. Anchorage's red light district was bustling with bars, strip clubs, and massage parlors, particularly in the midtown neighborhood of Spinard. Many women from the lower 48 states came to Anchorage, hoping to cash in on the oil money, often working as dancers or prostitutes. Little did they know, a hunter was lurking, seeking not trophies for his walls, but victims for the remote wilderness of Alaska. Robert Christian Hansen was born on February 15, 1939, in Esterville, Iowa, to Danish immigrants. His upbringing was marked by a strict authoritarian father and a nurturing mother. When Robert was 3, the family moved west to Richmond, California, but eventually returned to Iowa, settling in Pocahontas, where they opened a bakery. As a child, Robert was different. His father forced him to use his right hand instead of his natural left, and he struggled with a severe stutter and acne. He was teased by peers and rejected by girls, fueling a deep-seated resentment. After graduating high school in 1957, Robert enlisted in the Army Reserves, but his first sexual encounter with a prostitute was unsatisfactory, leaving him feeling entitled to control such encounters. After serving a year, Robert returned to Pocahontas, working at his father's bakery and serving as a drill instructor. He married but quickly divorced, and in 1960 he set fire to the Pocahontas County Board of Education bus barn, finding excitement in the chaos. He was arrested for arson and sentenced to 3 years in prison, but served only 20 months. Upon his release, Robert moved to Minnesota with his parents and met Darla, a college student working at their lake resort. They fell in love and married, eventually moving to Anchorage, Alaska in 1967, where Robert hoped to start anew. Hansen found Anchorage to be a dream come true, especially for hunting. He became proficient in hunting Dall sheep and boasted about his kills in hunting records. Outwardly, his life seemed successful. He worked as a baker and longshoreman, and his wife, Darla, was a respected teacher. However, dark patterns emerged once more. In 1971, Robert Hansen's darker urges surfaced when he attempted to abduct Suzanne Heppard. Though she escaped, and Hansen was arrested, he received only a light sentence. Later in 1976, he was arrested for stealing a chainsaw, but again, his attorney secured a reduced sentence. Despite these setbacks, Hansen's predatory behavior escalated. In 1980, after discovering human remains near Eklutna Lake, Detective Maxine Farrell connected the case to a series of missing women, many of them dancers or prostitutes. In June 1983, a young woman named Cindy Paulson escaped from Hansen and provided crucial details to the police. However, Hansen's alibi, supported by friends, initially cleared him. Officer Greg Baker believed Paulson and compiled evidence linking Hansen to previous assaults and kidnappings, but his superiors dismissed the case. In September 1983, 2 hunters discovered another body on the banks of the Chugach River, confirming suspicions of a serial killer. Detective Glenn Flothe of the Alaska State Troopers took over the case, uncovering Hansen's past and gathering evidence, including a behavioral profile from the FBI that fit Hansen perfectly. On October 26, 1983, Flothe secured search warrants for Hansen's property. The search revealed numerous incriminating items, including a map that marked locations where victims were found. Hansen was arrested and eventually confessed to multiple murders and rapes. Robert Hansen was sentenced to 461 years plus life without parole. His heinous crimes left an indelible mark on Anchorage, a city that once seemed like an unchained frontier. Through the relentless efforts of dedicated officers like Detective Maxine Farrell and Detective Glenn Flothe, justice was delivered, finally putting an end to the reign of terror of one of Alaska's most infamous serial killers.